Yan.
Hi, it's me again. Now this time I will be discussing the one-to-one access in the mobile classroom. The one-to-one movement is the strategy of providing one student a one mobile device. It means that each student will be having their own mobile device to facilitate integrated technology-based learning. Some schools are looking forward to enhance financial investment and see the promise of mobile enhanced education. With one-to-one, the mobile device becomes an essential component of students' education, especially now that we are experiencing online classes and virtual meetups instead of face-to-face class. Assemble. The Franklin Academy in Wake Forest, North Carolina has a one-to-one model that uses iPads because according to them, it reduces students to submit a hard copy homework. It also eradicates the burden of students from bringing separate notebooks in each subject. They have also noted that letting the students have their personal mobile device decreases the need for face-to-face meetings. Now, we have reached the implementation strategies. One-to-one projects should not be implemented recklessly. It should be carefully considered and planned before being implemented. Outcomes of implementation, it and financial statement of the school or the DepEd should be considered first. When and how it will be implemented must be part of the planning. Eradicating the formal curriculum to replace mobile learning directly is never suggested. Long-term strategies for continued support must also be included, like in Franklin Academy. Before they experience the one-to-one access in mobile classroom, they have experienced first several years of having to set up one-to-many before the transition happened. Now we have reached the device a deployment strategy. Moving to one-to-one affects all educational stakeholders, including teachers, administrators, parents, students, specialists, and IT personnel. Therefore, all parties should be represented when going one-to-one. Deploying a one-to-one implementation has many implications, from technical, infrastructure, to pedagogy. So developing a clear plan is critical for success, while rushing into a deployment leaves great room for error. That is why it is very important to never rush things when implementing a new style of learning, because sometimes if it's good, it will create positive outcome, but if it's in a bad state, then it will cause chaos with the school's education system. Though having a personal mobile device can help to let students study and explore on their own, but the mobile technology specialist warns that piloting mobile devices for each student may also result in negative outcome for students' learning, because having an own device by themselves mean that they can do anything they want with it. It is important to know if the teacher is willing to participate and gather appropriate data by documenting successes as well as roadblocks and challenges. Finally, if the one-to-one access will be implemented, it is important to decide and to look for the things to be considered, whether the students will leave the device in the school or the students can bring the device at home. What precautions will be taken to prevent misuse? Who will be responsible for the damage or destroy device? What privileges will students have in terms of personalization and customization? What professional development will be provided for teachers? Once the details have already been decided, the leaders should begin to share the information to the teachers, administrators, specialists, students, and parents. Gather a technical specialist for the implementation and always bring along the parents with the idea. Assess technology requirements and update infrastructure relevant to stakeholder. Tim Clark, Chief Technology and Information Officer for Forsyth County Schools in Georgia, states, if you don't have the infrastructure to back it up, when you need it, you're going to lose teachers and you're going to lose students because they don't see it as reliable. So if the school will going to implement the one-to-one access, it is important for the school to also see if the connection in the school or in the device is reliable. Because if not, then the school might lose the teachers and students' trust with the implemented access for mobile devices. And all of a sudden, all the efforts applied will be useless. One-to-one investment care should be taken prior to the deployment to ensure the infrastructure is in place to support widespread concurrent use. Ensure access outside of school. For one-to-one initiatives that allow students to take their devices home, it is important to ensure students can access their materials both in the outside of school. However, this falls flat if there is a variance in students' access to broadband. That's why some public schools are provided mobile hotspots for their students along with their mobile device that connect their device to wireless service from a cellular network provider. Professional development, lesson planning. One-to-one class are not limited to particular days, times, or lessons. Mobile devices can be integrated in a very useful day-to-day basis of assessing student growth within the class, like allowing students to use app that sets goal, digital note-taking, content sharing, and many more. Students' constant access to mobile devices also allows a great opportunity for self-developing and self-regulated learners. It also allows teachers to track the data of the student using apps like SAS Data Notebook, which allows students to set their own goals, collect and analyze performance data in order to monitor their progress, communicate with parents, and reflect on their work for appropriate assessment decisions. According to iPad for Education advocate Jamie Hall, the most successful one-to-one classrooms are those that use a variety of resources in daily instruction. There are many situations when mobile devices are not the optimal solutions for a particular lesson. Technology should follow pedagogy, which is the method and practice of teaching. According to research that 3 out of 4 teachers strongly agree that search engines have conditioned students to find information quickly and easily. Before, students are allowed to use cell phones before and after class. If you'll be caught using it during the class, then your phone will be confiscated and must wait for your parent to come pick you up in order to get it back. But in today's state, it is not applicable anymore, for we use cell phones every time in order to communicate with our teacher. So it is in our responsibility if we will use it in a good way for our education, or we will just use our phones in a way that is useless for our education. And that's it for our report. In conclusion, we have discussed the levels of access in the mobile classroom, including once a teacher wherein a single personal device for educator is given, one-to-many that explains of a classroom setup using a device, and lastly, the one-to-one access wherein one laptop or one device per student is given. That's it for our report.